I grew up with the understanding that in order to advance to the next level, I needed to learn new things. I needed to learn what, in my teacher's words, were to ensure I made it to the next level. Well, this made sense to me because the more I applied to my schoolwork, the more I passed. This worked for as long as I can remember until I got to the professional environment. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asanda Gcoyi. I am what they call a facilitator for behavioral change. Today, I'd like to share with you the importance of unlearning behaviors that are not serving you on your journey. By doing that, I'd also like to share with you 3 specific traits you need to exhibit on that journey to unlearning. To top it all up, I'll give you a few tips on what you can start doing as of today. Most of us have lived our lives believing that learning more of X would give us Y. Most times this works, but sometimes not as well as we would have hoped. Well, I've observed in my own professional career how individuals have moved up in the corporate sector, and it goes something like this. You enter company X with skills, qualifications, and potential. And when you're in a company, that potential manifests into a recognizable contribution. And for the ambitious amongst us, that very contribution, you would like it to be tangible. So what do? You go out there and you learn new skills. So you go on courses, you get yourself a degree in this, you get yourself a certificate in that. But ladies and gentlemen, sometimes this natural progression is not so natural. I'd like for you to meet Gavin. Gavin can be me. Gavin can be one of you sitting here today. Gavin entered his company, and within 2 years, he was a professional when he entered, and within 2 years, he was promoted to being a manager. And about a year into it, his boss pulls him aside and says, Gavin, I believe you have what it takes to be a department manager. And Gavin thinks, oh, okay, that's cool. But you need to exhibit a few traits that I think are important for a department manager. So his boss tells him that you need to show your value more. So in other words, the important people in the company need to see you more. Couple that with an MBA and you're good to go. Lo and behold, 2 years later, Gavin is promoted to department manager. However, a few years pass and another promotion is not coming as fast as Gavin would have hoped. I mean, he's the same gentleman. He's exhibiting the very same behaviors that got him to department manager, and yet that promotion is not happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it has become apparent to me that at some point in our professional lives, there comes a time when advancing to the next level is not about learning new things, but rather unlearning the things that you have learned that may have worked up to that particular point, but that are inhibiting your upward mobility. A lot of us are told that if you learn A, you will get better. If you learn B, you'll get even more better. But what we don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that for business success, learning more could be detrimental. Research done in the United States a few years ago found that the biggest challenge that is facing businesses today is understanding that for success to happen, it may be about unlearning old habits and not picking up new ones. A lot of professionals today are in this situation. We get sent off to leadership trainings. We get sent off to another course to get better at something. But just to test, by a show of hands, how many of you here have gone through leadership interventions to get better at something? Okay, there's quite a number of you. And by the same token, how many of you have gone to interventions to unlearn what you learned? Thought as much. To go back to Gavin did not realize that when he was making it to department manager, his value showing worked because he got the label of smart guy, assertive, and super confident. But for where he wants to go, these traits do not serve him. But no one has told him that he needs to unlearn what worked previously in order to make it to the next level. If any of you today here are anywhere close to where Gavin is, you're sitting there and hoping that a promotion is coming, but it's not, because you've got the leadership certificates, you've exhibited traits that you believe are essential for that training, and yet you are just not making it. I've got 3 important characteristics that I believe you need to exhibit in order for you to unlearn behaviors that are no longer serving you. The first of these, ladies and gentlemen, is courage. Courage is important because when you have a track record of success, it is very difficult for you to admit that the very thing that made you successful doesn't work anymore. So inevitably, you'll ask yourself, it worked, so why do I need to change it? I've got one word for you, and the answer to that is disruption. We hear of the word disruption every day. We know that businesses that succeed need to disrupt. The same for individuals. If you are not willing to disrupt yourself and learn new things, others will do so and move right ahead of you. The old saying that goes, what got you here will not get you there, is very apt for this. The second trait, ladies and gentlemen, you need to exhibit is humility. Change is as much about you as it is about the people that work with you. When you believe that you are superior, that the very behaviors that made you who you are so significant that you cannot change, then you are in trouble. Humility is about the people that are on the receiving end of the behaviors you must unlearn. I repeat, humility is about the people on the receiving end of the behaviors you need to unlearn. The last trait, ladies and gentlemen, as you prepare yourself to unlearn behaviors that are no longer serving you, is discipline. Alan Mulally, the former CEO and president of Ford Motor Company, and the man attributed to turning the once ailing company around, is quoted as saying, "We do not get better without structure." I shall take the liberty to paraphrase and say, we do not get better without structure and discipline. You may have a structured plan, but without discipline, you cannot achieve those goals. We must understand, ladies and gentlemen, that in the same token that it took time, effort, and dedication to learn the skills, the behaviors, as well as the habits that we have today, it will take time to unlearn them. So you say, Asanda, yes, I can exhibit courage, humility, and discipline. What can I be doing as of today? Well, 3 simple things you can start this very moment. The first of those is you need to identify a behavior that you must unlearn. So this is a behavior that you believe is inhibiting your natural progression in the professional space. Once you've done that, you need to speak to your peers. But here, you must not speak to your fan club, because they will not give you that honest input that you require on this unlearning journey. And number 3, and this is the most important one, is you need to find 1 or 2 individuals that can be your accountability partners. So these are individuals that you trust. These are people that you believe have the best interests of your success in the corporate world. Because what I've found is when there are individuals that are supporting you on a journey to changing, the change does happen. Remember those 3 traits I mentioned, the courage, humility, and discipline? They count the most in this regular peer feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, what you must realize is that unlearning a behavior is difficult. It's hard work. It may be simple, but not easy. But then when you realize and you understand that when you don't unlearn, so when you keep learning things instead of unlearning as you go along, you are actually putting your own professional life in jeopardy. I have learned that without courage, without humility, and without discipline, you will have thousands of leadership certificates, and you may even get promoted once or twice, but that's where it will end. Because when you recognize that when you unlearn and learn at the same time, you are giving yourself a chance to advance in the corporate world. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, for me, when I think about my teacher's advice of advancing to the next level, I'm constantly reminded that advancing to the next level may not necessarily mean learning new things, but rather unlearning the things that don't serve you anymore. And remember this, what got you here will definitely not get you there. Thank you.